Welcome to Bitter Reality Brewing. Yes, this is the top 10 tips, tricks, recommendations, hacks, suggestions, whatever you want to call them. Week 38. Yep, I'm etching out one more week. Don't forget, like, subscribe, keep sharing. Definitely appreciate the sharing. And a little later in this video, we'll be talking about giving away the How to Brew from John Palmer. This is like the Bible for home brewers. And I'm going to kick it up a notch since, I was kind of out of it for a couple weeks and things slowed down a bit, and now I've got to pick it back up. Got a Tilt Hydrometer t-shirt, really nice t-shirt. It is an XL, it doesn't come in all sizes, XL. This is available to anyone in the US. I will give you the keyword a little later. And of course, How to Brew by John Palmer is going to be available to everyone where I can get you a Kindle or the physical book. And for anybody who's not in the US, I've been able to get books for most people. Sometimes I do have to go Kindle because they just physically are ridiculously overpriced or they want to gouge for shipping. So, but let's jump right into this. I'm wearing my Amelia Island Brewing Company shirt, or Fernandina Beach for some people if they don't know Amelia Island. Very cool shirt, little old comic book looking thing on the back there. And I'm having a nice Schwash beer from, of all people, White Labs. I went up to Asheville. I was up there for a few days for Thanksgiving. This has been brewed with the 925 pressure, high pressure they call it, yeast. So something I'm looking to try. The flavors are a little more subdued than that of another lager yeast that they used. The lager had a little more flavors, and I'm gonna do some tests on some White Lab comparisons of some of their beers that they've brewed with different yeasts. So we'll see how that goes. But let's jump right into it. Number one, don't lift or handle grain baskets with feet, by their feet, as the majority are spot welded, and it can break loose if not handled with care. And I know people are going, I don't understand. Okay, a lot of the all-in-one systems have feet down here. And I've seen a lot of people where they'll say, oh, it broke off, it did this, it did that. I've accidentally grabbed it while I was cleaning it. This is spot welded. If you keep grabbing at this thing, this will break off. So it's something you need to be aware of. It's not screwed in, it's just spot welded. It's designed to take basic, pounding, but not a lot of it. So it's something to be aware of, and it'll prolong the life of the little feet on the bottom. While we're on the subject of the all-in-one system, somebody kind of called me out on one of the videos I did recently where I was talking about leveling, and I should have explained myself on that brew because it really had nothing to do with anvil. It had more to do with my deck. And that's why I'm kind of putting it out there. Leveling your brewing system. Number two, leveling your brewing system. Yes, I know people are going, I don't understand what he's talking about. So if you're running a recirculation where the wort's flowing through, you should be fine as long as the thing's not like this, because you're gonna maintain between 1/4 inch to a full inch of wort above the grain bed, because if it goes way down and comes back up, you're gonna end up packing your grains, so you don't want that. So as long as you're maintaining about 1/4 inch or better, you're gonna be fine. And I don't mean like stuck, mash, but hey, you're gonna be fine. But if you're sparging, what I took notice was on the sparging. If you have something like a Grainfather, Anvil Foundry, or other system that has what I call a deflector plate, or something like this where it helps to break the liquid up and helps it run evenly, you're gonna wanna have a big level, little level, whatever kind of level you want, but a level. And you're gonna wanna level your brew system. And mine, I simply took a little scraper, shoved it under the very bottom of my system, and boom, I was level. The reason I say that is if you're off enough and you start pouring that hot sparge water, it's gonna run to one side, and it's gonna run down the side of your grains or the grain bed, and it's really not gonna do the job. It's not going to be effective, or it will at least reduce its effectiveness, because the whole point of sparging is to go very slow and go across the entire grain bed. If you're sitting at a slight angle, there's a good chance that the majority of that's all going to one side. Level it out, reduce my headaches, reduce, the chance that maybe I'm not rinsing all the grains properly. That's what I mean by leveling. And if you're on a deck or you're on concrete, there is a good chance that there is a nice slope based on where you live. And I've seen, like I said, I was up in Asheville and Lake Lure recently, and we have people with driveways up there like this. So yeah, hopefully they're not actually brewing on something like that, because they'll be chasing the whole system down the road. Number three, storing a tilt. Yep, because we're talking about tilt. Storing a tilt hydrometer for maximum battery life. Got 5 sitting here. Got my boxes from a couple. And I've had some of these tilt hydrometers for a very long time. And I have yet to have to replace the battery. Even when I thought I had a battery issue, I didn't have a battery issue. All of mine are rocking and rolling, and I'm thinking I'd have to double check. I'm probably going on 4+ years on one of them. I'd have to double check. But the key is, if you want to keep the battery life on a hydrometer from tilt, you simply have to store it straight up and away from everyone and everything so it doesn't get knocked over. If you throw them in a little bin, they're gonna get knocked around, and you may not be able to see it on the camera, but a little light starts flashing. And when that light starts flashing, the tilt is active, hence the word tilt. It tilts to turn it on. That's how it comes on. It says, oh, hey, I'm not quite straight up, so somebody must need me. And it starts blinking and it starts doing its little, check and try to send you out some information. So if you take your tilt hydrometers, you just keep them upright and you put them out of the way. I mean, mine get a little dust on them. I clean them before I use them. It's not a big deal. But the key is I don't have to replace the batteries. Those batteries aren't outrageous, but and there it goes. Yeah, because I was playing with it. It's starting to blink. I don't know if you can see that, but it thinks I need some information. So it's checking the temperature. It's checking everything. Yeah, just store them straight up. It's that simple. Number 5, and I kind of laugh about this, but it is what it is. We've talked about cleaning before, but there's something I do a lot whenever I'm not sure. Like when I pick up something like this and I'm like, wow, was this dirty or clean? And I move it and I'm like, well, it's moving. It's not dirty, but I call it the sniff test. Yes, the sniff test. And you're like, ooh, yeah, Saturday Night Live. Yeah. Basically, I just want to make sure if I can smell it, it's not clean. It shouldn't have an odor. I do know that when you're cleaning carboys, especially plastic ones, sometimes, like I just did my cider, that carboy still smelled like cider for about 2 days. After I cleaned it, I let it air out, and now I can barely smell anything, and I'm probably gonna clean it once. Well, I know I'll clean it once more just before I go to use it. But the plastic does seem to hold the odor a little longer, but anytime I have a keg and I notice that odor, I let it air out a little bit, I clean it again. I don't want an odor in there, because if there's an odor, it's not clean. And I'm serious, I mean, anytime I'm not sure, I sniff it. Now, if I've already cleaned it and I put it away, it's dripped, I put it away, yeah, I'm not sniffing everything. But even hose, I'm like, okay, was that used? No, okay, it's good. Rinse it out and use it. You may laugh, but hey, better to be safe than sorry. Number 5, cleaning tools. I know I've already gone over these little things. I know I've gone over this, but as you're brewing and times change and things change and you start finding new tools, I've added a few. This one I've been using for a long time. The other one's very recent addition. Little smiley face. And yes, anything I talk about, I'll leave a link down below. So, if you click on it, not all, but some are affiliate links. And yes, I might get a few nickels, dimes, quarters, or even $1 or $2, which would be awesome. And you don't pay anything different, but a little smiley sponge. My wife had bought these for the kitchen and I tried one of them. Oh, they're awesome. For the bottom, and don't push down, just lightly rubbing the bottom, just making sure it's clean. And yeah, just does an amazing job on any kind of kettle or brewing system. The other one, which is a more recent addition for me, beyond using these inside, of course, it's a toothbrush. I know you're thinking, a toothbrush? Yeah, toothbrush. It's cheap, it's simple, and I can get wherever I have grooves. And what I've been doing is a lot of times I'll use something like this, which is the keg lubricant. And that stuff is gooey. And it's a pain, it's hard to get off. Yeah, technically I should be using a little bit of PBW or something, but this and a little Star Sand and comes right off, and then I can clean it, but I get that gunk off. If I'm dealing with something that has some sort of Teflon on it, it just works. It just cleans all the threads, all the little edges. It just is a tool for cleaning, that's all, nothing special. Number 6, since we're still on cleaning, sooner than later. And I know I've mentioned something like this on when we're cleaning all-in-one systems, but never let things sit overnight or longer. And I'm gonna say whenever possible, because I'm just as guilty as anyone else out there, but whenever possible, because a lot of things are much harder to get that odor and get that cleanliness that you would want with your brewing stuff if you've let it sit. It's just, yeah, it's just gross. Number 7, and this, I have gone over this before with thermometers and hydrometers. Don't trust thermometers, don't trust hydrometers until you've proven to yourself that it gives you an accurate reading. Comparing several of them together is a great way of doing that. Comparing different variations is a great way of doing that. It's the same reason that I test and calibrate my tilts every time to make sure, and most of the newer ones are dead on, so I'm good. But the older ones needed a little calibration. Test your spunding valve. Yes, test your spunding valve. Number 7, test your spunding valve. And the reason I'm saying this is I've got my Spundit 2.0 dead on. I've gotten these two guys, and one of them has a big A and one does not. I got these with my Firmzilla All-Rounders. The A means accurate, because when I put 10 PSI and I put this on, I get 10 PSI, and I've got 4 additional gauges in my keezer I can use to verify against everything. If I say 10 PSI, this says 10 PSI. I'm dead on, I'm great. I pull this off, I put something else on like the one that says A for accurate, and I get 10 PSI. If I put this one on, same thing, I get 7.5. So I crank it up to 10, and really I'm doing about 12.5. It's not accurate. I looked, there's no way that I can find to adjust this, but you can replace just the little pressure gauge. So, roll the dice and hopefully I won't have a problem with the next one. And it happens. Brewing America, I've had an issue eons ago and they took care of me. One of the reasons I swear by them. Tilt, my first one I told you, said I was like 5,000 Fahrenheit. So everybody has some degree of error on some of their systems. So it's something to be aware of. And if you're new to home brewing, never go with the one and say, okay, it's accurate or it's accurate. Test it against something. If you don't have something to test it against and you're in a homebrew club, somebody in that homebrew club has something like you have and they can help test it with you, and they might find out that theirs is wrong and yours is correct. So, test your spunding valve, just like all the other measuring devices you have, test them. The 1 gallon jugs we found out have a lot more than 1 gallon in them. Number 8, and this is we're going to glass, and we're going all about glass and glass carboys and things like that. But number 8, temperature shock. Yes, glass carboys. Avoid any sudden temperature changes. Avoid bumping them, goes without saying. But I was reading in Reddit not too long ago where someone said that they took their carboy. First, it sounded like they filled it with hot wort, which wasn't good anyways. And then they went out and stuck it in the snow. And about a half hour later, they went and they picked it up and there was nothing in it because it all went out into the snow. So snow, ice, hot wort, cold crashing even. Be careful. Be very careful, because all that hard work could go not even down the drain, but all over the floor or wherever else it may be that you have it. Before we go into number 9, let's do the giveaway. First of all, How to Brew by John Palmer. Really easy. Down in the comments, exactly a week from today, I'll pull somebody's name, I'll reach out to them, they'll send me their shipping address and we'll ship it off. If they're in another country, I'll do my best to get them a book. If not, we'll work on a Kindle. But one word. Yes, I know you can do this in 2 words or 1 word. 1 word, homebrew. Just put homebrew anywhere in your comments down below, and the book will be up for grabs. And a week from then, we'll do the little random picker out of the comments, and I will find somebody, and that person will be notified, and they will win the book. That's How to Brew by John Palmer. All you have to do is put the word homebrew, 1 word, as 1 word, not just 2. You can do it as either way. Yes, and I'll show you the back, the front. Brand new shirt from Tilt Hydrometers. Super simple. And I'm gonna make it a little harder than normal, but not super hard. Anywhere down below, in the comments, all you have to do is put Tilt Hydrometer, 2 words. Tilt Hydrometer. And it is US only, I'm sorry. Canada or Mexico, I can see what it'll cost to ship there, so I might be able to hook you up, but Tilt Hydrometer, super simple. So let's go ahead and jump right into number 9. Number 9, carrying full glass carboys. Okay, I know I've covered this to some degree, and it is very dangerous, and I recommend it being careful and all that lovely stuff, but, or go plastic like I'm slowly going, or stainless steel. But I was watching about a month back, BC is the name he seems to go by, but Doing the Most Brewing. It's a YouTube channel. I'll put a link up here for you to go to it, the one I'm talking about specifically. And he was recommending using a milk crate. Now I know I've mentioned the straps, I've mentioned holding the handle while cradling the bottom and carrying it so you're not pulling all that weight on that handle. The handle is just more to steady it, and you're holding the weight hopefully down here, or you got somebody in the house that's really strong and let them carry it. But he mentioned a milk crate, and if you can get your carboy to fit in a milk crate, that's great. It's a perfect level to hold it. I think that's a great suggestion. But like I said, credit where credit's due. That was from Doing the Most Brewing. And he had another item that kind of got me scared, and I kind of freaked out and went, and I had to go test something. I know this is gonna go without saying too, but number 10, avoid cheap glass carboys from anywhere. Yeah, like I said, it should go without saying. I know sometimes that you see something for home brewing and it looks cheap and you're like, oh my gosh, you know, I can save all this money and get this one instead of this one. Sometimes the cheaper one is really the more expensive one because you're gonna have problems. Spending a little bit more money for quality is much more productive for the long haul. Trust me on that, or even sometimes for the short haul. Again, I got some additional information on that. And again, credit to BC at Doing the Most Brewing. This is about annealing or kneeling. It is a form of an extremely slow process or form of taking freshly made or produced glass that's very hot and over time cooling it. And they do it sometimes where it takes a day or several days, but this helps to avoid weakening the glass, creating, you know, any kind of stress fractures or anything that you might not be able to see. But the one thing that he did mention is that he mentioned not to buy carboys from Mexico. Actually, 2 of my carboys are from Mexico, and they are the thickest, heaviest ones I have. They are amazing, and I did test them on something I'm gonna tell you how to test, or at least I'll tell you where to go and find how to test. And then I do have a few Italian ones, and then I have some 3-gallon Italian ones, which are super durable looking. I mean, very thick glass, even got like a ribbing to the glass. It's kind of cool. But go out to his channel if you're concerned, because he had me kind of freaking out, going, oh my gosh, my glass carboys are gonna break sooner than I want, because I still use them occasionally. And he will show you how to set up a polariscope using a polarity lens and your cell phone or camera or video camera. You can do it. It's really easy, it's super easy, but go check out the video. Like I said, I put it up here earlier and you can go click on that. I wanted to give him credit for that, but go check it out. I checked all mine, I'm good. I'm still trying to get away from glass carboys, but I was freaking out that I might have a problem and I had to go check them immediately. Number 11, yes, number 11, I'm giving you a bonus. This one's super simple. We mentioned this before when doing beer bottle cleaning, when I did a video about cleaning beer bottles. This goes for your carboys that are glass, and this goes for beer bottles. Avoid any of them that have any kind of flaws in them. They have bubbles. I used to like the New Belgian ones because they're real thick and they got, you know, an extra thick head, but occasionally I would see little glass bubbles in those, and yeah. Just simply take the ones that have any kind of damage to them, put them in your glass recycling bin, or dispose of them properly if you don't do recycling in your area. Yeah, some of our areas have changed some policies recently, so do what you can. But don't waste your time putting beer in there. The last thing you need is to share a beer out and have one of your friends drink glass, or have a carboy that you're like, it's just a tiny bubble, it's fine. And then one day you go to pick up the beer that you're just so proud of and it's all on the floor. So thank you again for joining us here at Bitter Reality Brewing. Don't forget, like, subscribe, keep sharing, definitely appreciate it, and happy holidays to everyone. Thank you.